All right, take it away.
Okay. Hey, hi everybody. So yes, like Brenda was saying, my name is Juliet. Today we're talking about the power of being yourself. Oh, there you go. Okay, so a little bit about what I'm going to talk today. So I will share about me. Then I will divide my story, how I became a UX designer, in two. So my story part one, what happened and what is the story two, because my mindset changed, and then my story part two, and the main takeaways. And if we have times or we have questions, we can do some Q&A at the end. So about me, so I'm Julieth Fajardo, she hair, originally from Colombia. I'm queer, immigrant woman. I've been living in Vancouver, Canada for the last 14 years. Every time that I say 14 years, I cannot believe it. I've been always living in Vancouver. And I think when I was thinking about what to talk today, it's funny because I'm usually the one who make the questions for people and ask questions to people. So I think this part was different for me this time. But even though I'm going to be sharing my story, I want you to think about your story. And I think this is the power of each of us. We have unique journeys. So if you have paper and pencil, if you want to take notes, I'm going to be asking some questions to myself. And I would like you to ask those questions to yourself while we go through this. So the first part of my story, and you see, I'm in a map and I'm a little bit crying a little bit. And I think that's really important to say where I was before and what I did the change. So like I said, I've been in Canada for 14 years. And when I came as an immigrant, I have a background in fashion design, and it's like, okay, I have to get a job. I ended up landing in retail. It's like, who wants to hire me? Who wants to believe me? Even though I don't speak any English, where I can go. So I ended up in retail. And I stayed in retail for almost 10 years. And I really, honestly, enjoyed it a lot. I like that you change every day. It's different. Like there is always something happening. I love the people that I work with. I think that was usually the best part. But my life and work balance were nowhere seen. I never have holiday vacations. Christmas were really painful for me. I think if you ask me while I was working in retail about Christmas, I will tell you that I hated it. Even though back home in Colombia, Christmas is such an amazing time. And I hated to say that I hate Christmas at that point. But then I will say that going back in 2017, there was a big change in the company and we got laid off. And I think when I got laid off, I think for me was like, okay, do I want to stay here? What do I want to do? So I ended up landing another retail job. It was easy. It was good money. So I ended up staying. But I think during all this time, I was like, I don't want to do this. What else can I do? Let's find something else. Then in 2019, I got laid off again. I think it was in May and I got laid off again. And it's like, I've been wishing this for a while. I've been wishing for someone to say, okay, Juliet, go away with 1 year retail. And people heard me and it's like, you are getting laid off. But at this time, I think I was ready to do the move and find something different. And I started thinking, what are the things that I do like the most? And it's like, I love people. I love empowering people. When they come to retail, a lot of them is like, maybe this is the first job. Maybe they are out of school, they're new immigrants, and they're looking for a new opportunity. And I really like how to make this a space, a safer space for them to grow, to learn, and take these learnings into the next step of their career. So I really enjoyed that. So my first thought was, okay, maybe I want to be like a teacher, maybe want to be into therapy. So compared to the first time when I finished high school, that is like, let's study whatever and see what happened. This time is like, I need to be really conscious about my decision. I did information interviews. I volunteered as a teacher assistant. And then I realized, okay, this is not what I wanted to do. I heard about UX design maybe around 2016, 2017, but I think it was too new and it was too scary to say, let's just go for it. But I think in 2019, when I decided I wanted to do this, I had the chance to talk to around like 10 different people in the market that they were working, like they were in different size of companies, they were doing different things. I talked to HR and I saw myself, okay, I think I can do this day to day. So I was really conscious about how to take the decision. And I will say that everything lined up for me to take the boot camp. Why did I choose the boot camp? I forgot to say, I'm almost 40. I turned 40 tomorrow. So I think when Brenda said, okay, do you want to do this on the 9th? I said, okay, yes, I'm going to turn 40 on the Saturday. So it's perfect. This is a great celebration for my birthday to share my story. I went to school for many years. And when deciding to go into boot camp, is like, why to go for 5 years of a school where it's going to take a lot of money, of time? And the feedback that I have from people that went to a school is like, okay, you go for 4 years into tech, and when you finish, a lot of the stuff that you learn is already in the past. Like it just moves so fast. So I said, let's see if a boot camp works for me. I really wanted to dive in and see if I like it. It was intense, but I think it was the right decision for me at the time. It was 3 months intense. It was during COVID. So I wanted that in-person experience. That didn't happen. Everything was online. Okay. Finish my boot camp, and then you are experiencing what is to find a new job. And I don't know if you have been in the market as a new person or junior in your career, is really tough. And when you switch careers and you don't have experience, is hard. So I finished, and I think it was like a big glass of water in your face. Is like, okay, no one wants you, no one wants to hire you, no one wants to listen to you, no one believes in your skills. So I think it was really hard for me to go into that space after coming for a career that I was really successful, that people were asking me all the time, we want to hire you, we want to do this with you, and now no one knows about you. And I think it goes back to being an immigrant. When you go to a new country and no one knows you, and then you have to start from zero, I think it's a lot of those feelings that come back to you. It's like, oh my goodness, not again. I cannot do this again. But I ended up landing one of my first interviews, because I do like to talk to people. That's what you do in retail. You talk to everyone every single day. So it's like, what can I do to start landing interviews? So I was telling absolutely everybody, hey, I'm a UX designer. This is what I'm doing. This is what I would like to do. And this is how I ended up landing my first interview. Someone from the gym and say, hey, Juliet, we are opening a UX position. Do you want to interview for it? I didn't know anything about the company, the product, nothing. Pretty much, I mean, she's like the financial director of blah, blah, blah. So it was like a really good way to enter. It was the worst interview that I have ever had in my life. I think going into a space that you don't know what to expect, it was tough. At the same time, honestly, I didn't prepare. I went like blindly into the interview. And I think it didn't make me feel good. I think I realized I do not like the company. I don't like what they do. I didn't ask the atmosphere. So then you start thinking, okay, there is something inside of me that I need to start listening. And I think this is when we go to the mindset change. When you finish school and you see just all these job openings and you see all the descriptions and everything is like 3 years of experience, you need to know all of these, you have to work in all these projects. And even for the junior entry levels is like that. And I think you finish thinking, okay, yes, I have a junior entry mindset kind of idea. And I think that's what was happening. And when I have the interview, it was like an opening call for me. It's like, I don't think that this is true. I don't think that I have the junior mentality. And before, I think something that I forgot to say, at the boot camp, they were doing weekly calls with different disciplines in the boot camp. So I had the chance to meet developers, data science, marketing people. Every week I would meet someone new. And I really missed that when I finished the boot camp. So I ended up going into Lunch Club. Lunch Club is like a really easy way to meet people. If you haven't heard about it, really recommend it. And I ended up meeting this person. I think he was like in his 60s or like mid 60s. Like he's like, I have 40 years of experience in restaurants and all of this. And we were talking about design. He went into design because of the pandemic. He's like, because of the pandemic, my restaurant business went down. So I need to do something different. And I saw UX and I thought that it was a great opportunity. And he said, you know, I finished my bootcamp and I felt really bad. Like no one is going to hire me. No one wants to know about my experience. But he said, in the moment, then I realized that I have 40 years of experience and no one has this that I have. My mind changed. Yes, it's like, I'm not a junior. I have experience. I have all of this. So it's like, yes, wait, hold on. Maybe, yes, I'm new in design. My design experience is nothing. But what I have in my life span is unique. And I think when he said that to me and I start internalize and it's like, yeah, I do have a lot of experience. Maybe I don't have it in specific in design, but I have it as an immigrant. I don't know how many of you are immigrants, but changing countries is such a tough thing to do. And you learn so much and you go up and down, but you keep learning, growing and challenging yourself. I did so much in retail. Like I managed team from as small as at 8 until 40, hire, develop people, have a whole team under me. So just start thinking all the things that you do. And it's like, okay, hold on. My experience is not junior. And definitely this was one of the biggest things is like what I'm putting on my brain, how what I'm doing with my life to change what is inside of me. And for me, it was really important to realize is the thoughts that I have in me, are those my thoughts? Like, do I really believe that I don't have all the skills that are needed for this career? Do I believe that my collaboration is not enough or I don't have the experience? So I think it was for me to start thinking, hold on, this is not me. This is not what I believe about myself. I will never tell my best friend of my loved ones, you are not smart or you are not enough. I will never tell them that. So what I'm saying that to myself. And I think for me, it was really important to start putting, reading and internalizing things that will help me to go out of those thoughts. So I think that was really important for me, to be honest and raw to myself. Yes, of course. And at that point, it's like, I don't know much about UX design, but I'm strong in this, and these are the things that I need to good at it. So let me share with you a couple of links. Because for me, this was really, let me see here. Oh, I sent you the wrong one. Oh, I sent you the wrong one. Hold on here. I sent you my whole presentation. Okay. This one. So I think Brené Brown, I didn't know much about her at the beginning, but when I started reading about her, she's a researcher and how all the research, like this is like real data that she came with. So I started reading about Brené Brown, and this one was a good one. If you want to read about Dare to Lead, this is the book where she talks about these values. So this is a question that I have for you. And it will be a question about where you are in this moment of your life. If you will go to that list where it has all the list of value, you need to pick two values that are the most important in this moment in your life. And for me, oh, let me see where I am. Okay. So for me, at that moment, when I finished my boot camp, my two most important were career and job security. I was doing everything that I needed to do to be able to have my new career happening and job security. But at the same time, I realized that when I was applying for all these thousands of different jobs and was talking with all these companies, I realized there was something that was not aligning. So then is when I started thinking, okay, do I want to work for companies that are going to bring me the same kind of feeling that I have before in retail? What do I really want to do? So when I started thinking what really I want to do and what I want for my future, and that I didn't want the same as what I had before, I think that was another step starting to my career and where I am today. So then if you see like my number one, you were at the beginning career security, but then they changed. They went into be authenticity and personal fulfillment. And this is when I stopped applying for jobs. No one is calling me. No one likes me. They see my resume and they see my portfolio and they're like, you don't have any experience. You haven't worked with anyone. This is not working for me. Then I start realizing what I'm good at it. But again, I think I enjoy people. I like to talk to people. I said, okay, let's put my 100% energy in networking. And that's where I went into start building my storytelling and start building like, what did I do in the past? How can I help me to be a strong player for your team as a UX designer, even with limited experience? Honestly, I was spending so much time in networking, cold emails, Slack communities, everything that I could get for free. I love free stuff. So I definitely can share the communities that I like the most and places where you can, beside Launch Club, find people to talk. Because again, this gave me the opportunity to get better at what I have to say for the interviews. There is this job fair called Women's Hack. Honestly, this is how I landed most of my interviews. At that point, they were all online. Now, because we are kind of going back to normal, there's a lot of in-person that I don't like because then it takes away the opportunity to go to many places. But there are so many different job fairs when you can go and see companies and start talking. That helped me a lot. Okay. The other thing is, okay, I'm not getting a job soon. What can I do for people to see that I really care about UX? If you don't talk too much about what you do because you don't have a job, how do you let people know that you are interested and you have the strengths and the skills? Again, I go back to my strengths, what I'm good at it. I thought maybe if I start sharing my story, like I'm doing right now with people, in a more public setting instead of one-on-one, people can start noticing me. So I started this podcast called UX and Time. That is, at that point, I have another co-host that we will talk with people. We bring people and we would talk about our experience, what it is to find a job, what is to be a UX designer, what is to be working in the public sector, private sector. So we start bringing in people into our podcast. Two things that help us, beside start being more active in LinkedIn and saying to people, we are UX designers, this is the skills that we have. We start meeting people. Yes, this is pretty much how I ended up meeting Brenda. I brought Brenda to our podcast. It was a great platform to tell people who we are when we want. That's one. The other thing that I start doing is I speak Spanish. And if you go right now in YouTube channel and look about UX design, most of the content is in English. So for me, it was really important. It's like, okay, I speak Spanish. That's something unique for me. Let's do that around being a UX designer in your late 40s, changing careers, and immigrant in Canada. So that's kind of my branding for my YouTube channel. But for me, is like how I keep busy, keep learning, and keep showing that I really care about this. So that was two big ones. Something else that I was thinking that I needed and I didn't have, and people didn't want to hire me. I need a job. I need something that I can show my skills. But no one wants to hire me. So what do I do? I need to find this experience. What is on my hands? What is free that I can get from people? There is more people like me that want to have experience and that want to do portfolio passion projects. So it's like I went to all these Slack channels and I started thinking, okay, who wants to do a portfolio piece with me? At one point, honestly, I was running into 5 different projects with different people because they wanted to do it. And that was great experience for me. I put all of that in my resume. And I think in the moment that you start having experience and you can demonstrate your skills and you start having interviews with people, then you start feeling more secure. And then you see, okay, yes, I can do this. So that will be a great one. Go into Slack channels, tech communities, and ask people to do a portfolio piece. But this ended up in one of the things that, if you ask me, I could talk for hours, that is called Cherry on Tech. So Cherry on Tech is this volunteer organization that empowers women and non-binary people to get into tech. And at the beginning, it was just like a group of women doing passion projects. But then after you start doing the research and talking with more people in the same shoes as me, everybody said, no, I need something that proves that I can do this. I need a portfolio piece. I mean, I knew this already, but people keep telling me, yes, I need to feel more valuable. I feel that I'm empowered and I can do this. So this is how Cherry on Tech came into space, is like how we can make projects that are not just like any project. There are projects that are going to make X skill that you want to improve better. So for example, we have one of our cherries. They are from developers and they wanted to be senior developers. So for that, you need developers to mentor and show them what to do on whatever it is. So what we did, we brought more developers that wanted to have a skill and learn from a mentor and work in projects. That was one. The other one, she is a QA, but she wanted to go into product manager. So what do? We create projects which she can develop those skills. The same for me. I wanted to have a project where I can show that I work in a multidisciplinary team. So we create projects based on that. So it's a lot about you creating the opportunities that you need to succeed. And I feel like I didn't end up putting this part, but let me see what is next. I mean, this is my secret part. When you start developing all these things and you start putting your mind away from your fears and away from what people is saying, from what people is not doing, at the end of the day, this is out of our control. What other people is doing, the only thing that we can control is our own life. So the second question that I have for you after the values is, what are the 2 actions or verbs that you live your life by? And I think at the beginning, I didn't realize this. I do mentorships and ADPLS, and it's something that I keep asking every mentee that I meet, is like, what are the actions that you wake up in the morning thinking that you wanted to do? Or when you're going to do something, how do you think about it? So for me, is being intentional. So everything that I do have a goal. It's not just like, let's do a podcast because of fun. Yeah, that could be a purpose if you want to have fun and do something different. But for me, the purpose, it was, and the intention, I want people to know that I really care about this change in UX design. I want to get better at storytelling. The other one is being proactive. I'm not going to wait here until I get a job after applying. I'm actively looking, I'm proactively looking or talking to people about what I want. If I don't tell people what I want, how are they going to know? So if you keep yourself behind the scene, behind the screen, no one is really going to know about yourself. So that's that. How did I landed my first job? When I started talking to and having more interviews because of networking, I started telling people what I wanted. I was interviewing them too. And again, I was telling friends at the gym, friends at church, friends at the coffee shop, my mom, absolutely everybody knew that I wanted a job in UX. It was funny because at one point, my mom keeps sending me all these job postings from Colombia. I was like, Mom, yeah, thank you. I need a job in Canada, but I really appreciate the effort. So is for you to think who is around you that love you and care about you, that is going to do or help you to find where you want it to be. But if you're not specific about what you want, people is going to come in with things that you don't like. So for me, that was really important when I started going networking with people, is like, this is the values that I care in a company, and this is the kind of products that I would like to work. This is the kind of a space that I would like to go. And at one point, you think that, I believe it, like at one point, it's like nothing is coming my way. I keep getting all these interviews and talking to people, but nothing is really like concrete. I keep going and I keep showing myself. And I think that's the most important. I don't know if you go to the gym or whatever habit that you want to start, is not about just the first initial thought about I wanted to do it, but just keep showing up, even if you are depressed, sad, hungry, tired. You just keep showing up and doing yourself. That's what I kept doing. And I always kind of think about this when you have planting a tree, planting a flower or a plant, is you put the seed and you water it, you put it in the sun, you water and put it in the sun, and you don't see absolutely nothing coming in, yes? And it takes you a while to see that big tree coming out. And it could be for you a surprise. It's like came out of nowhere, but at the end of the day, you put the effort and you keep showing up, and there is the fruit of you doing it. So in the Women's Hack, you get the chance to see the companies. They have a booth and they tell about what they are, who they are, what they want. You can see how diverse is the team. That for me was really important when moving into a new company. Really show the diversity of the team. So many companies, they say that that's what they value on their website, but then you go on their team and everybody looks the same. It's like, well, this is not really diversity. But then one day, I think it was sometime in October, I attend to one of these one, and the other thing that they have is a one-on-one. It's so intense. I don't know if you have ever been in like a speed dating, when you go and talk to someone for the first time and they have 15 minutes and you have to tell about yourself and they have to tell about yourself, but this is just 5 minutes where you have to have your pitch elevated, like your elevator pitch really concrete, because you don't have more than 2 minutes to ask them questions and to tell about yourself and what you want. Ended up sitting with one of the lead developers for IRCC, and we were talking and just blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, what are you looking for? I'm like, oh, I want a UX job. And she's like, okay, you need to stop right now. I need to go to the booth because you are going to be able to talk and listen to the director. I said, okay, cool. So I went and she was talking and I'm like, what is this? This is what I've been looking for, like a place where empowers people to come to Canada. I mean, I'm an immigrant, so for me, that was really close to my heart, what they were doing. But most than anything is the way that she was talking about IRCC and what they do and why they do it. And I asked it at one point, is like, okay, how important for you is not to have UX experience, or do you look at the experience beyond a designer. Because for me, that was the most important. I want a company that cares about the whole person that I am. It's not that I'm just going to go to work and just bring a UX person. It's like, you're missing a whole person that I am. So she's like, no, we look at the holistic way, blah, blah, blah. And I was like really overwhelmed by like the excitement of this prospect job. It took me a while to apply. It's like, oh, I don't think that I can do it. I don't think that I have enough experience, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, here I am almost 2 years, almost 2 years into the role. And I'm glad that I took the step to say, let's give it a try and see what happened. And a lot of people don't take that step because, of course, it hurts to fail. It hurts when people say you are not enough or you don't have what we're looking for. But I think I got to that place because all the times that I have bad interviews, that I have low moments, that is okay, what did I learn from this? How I can take it into an opportunity for my dream job? Like, what do I need to ask next time? How I can say this answer better for them to understand what I'm doing? And all of that, it was because I was practicing, because I failed, and because I didn't do it right. So I really, when I got to that point and I got the offer, it's like, okay, it meant to be. So where I am today, let me see where here. Okay, this is the main takeaways, but where I am today. So again, I've been working for IRCC, and one of the branches that is called Journey Labs, that is for the public sector. We've been working in this. Every time that I talk about my project, I tell people, this is what is going to be this is what is going to be how immigrants are going to get inspired about coming to Canada. This is going to be revolutionary for Canadian immigration. I get really excited about the project that we're talking. We be able to work from end to end in a project that usually as a new designer, you don't get the chance to do. Usually you just work in projects that already exist. So I feel really fortunate to be able to really learn the whole process. And I feel for me, at one point, and I know, let me, if I can go back to my values. Oh, I ended up leaving the same ones. Okay, I forgot to change them. But I think if we go to the part number 3, values, for today, where I am today is making the difference and growth. And the 4 is like, who never knows what are going to be my 2 top values in the future. But I think it's for you to understand that it's okay if they change, and that it's okay if you change your mind and make different ones. That's what is growing, and that's what is learning. Main takeaways for you. So be honest with yourself. If you suck at something and you're not good at it, be honest, because that's how you're going to say, okay, I need to work in this and I need to improve. But at the same time, you need to know your strengths and what are you good at it, so you can show to people and tell people this. Be your true self. For me, every time that I said I'm Latinx, Colombian, almost in my 40s, queer, loud, I think for me, this is a way to say, this is what you're getting. So when I go and talk to people and networking, I don't hold myself to be me, because I don't want anyone to be surprised when I start working and said, oh, you were different from when you were there, that you're here. I think people, if they want to hire me and they want to be around me, it's because they really care about who I am. Do what you love. This is a great one for you if you're looking to start different projects and things to cultivate your skills and grow them. Do what you love. Do not compare yourself to whatever else is doing. That's what is worked for them, but maybe not for you. Do something challenging. This is never speaking in English. It's been my strength. But it's like, okay, if I start a podcast, a YouTube channel, for sure, I'm going to get good at it, public speaking. Why not? And the last one is learn from your mistake. This is going to be the best thing that you could do is how can I improve this, and not taking it as a failure, but as a moment of growth and strength. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what it is. Yeah, I have now like questions, if anyone have any questions. No? All good. All good if we don't have questions. I don't see any. Perfect. So if you are looking for me, you can go to YouTube channel and just look for my name. If you want to learn some Spanish, you don't know any, it's in Spanish, my YouTube channel. So if you know Spanish, recommended one. If you are, I don't know, maybe everybody who speaks Spanish say the same, but if you are learning Spanish, you can learn it from people from Bogota. We have the best accent to speak Spanish. So I would recommend it to watch my YouTube channel. If you want something in English, is UX and Time, and you can find us like in LinkedIn, YouTube, pretty much everywhere. If you want a one-on-one with me, again, just go to ADP list and just look for my name. And yeah, thank you so much for everybody. I wish you the best. And don't forget, you are the best of you. There's nothing best than that. Yeah. Thank you. I don't know. Brenda.
Thanks, Julieth. Appreciate you taking the time to talk to us and share your story today. I'm not sure. It sounds like there's no questions, but if you want to take down your shared screen, and I can pause the recording too, if people want to stay and chat.
Yeah, I have a question if this
so I guess I'll go ahead and pause the recording, or people mind. Yeah, I'll go ahead and stop the recording. We can chat. So thanks, everyone. Stop.